Yo, 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 yo. So this is Gabrielle Michel Côté. This is Gabrielle Côté. This is the Sphinx. I was born on the 23rd of August, 1998. Welcome back, everyone. This is me and myself and I. Gabrielle Côté, the Sphinx. This is October 17th, 2022. I'm 24 years old. I'm Gabrielle Côté. I'm the Sphinx. I wanted to talk about a few things. So I wanted to say how Africa, they're black, and Europe, they're white, and Asia, they're yin yang. So Africa, they're black, Europe, they're white, Asia, they're yin yang. So they're black and white. Asia, they're black and white, yin yang. They're black and white, yin yang, Asia. Then there's black people in Africa, white people in Europe. And then there's Middle Eastern people. There's Arabic people, Arabs, and they're like mixed. I believe that they're people that got already mixed in between black people and white people for so long. Then they created a breed. They're like a new breed of people. They're Arabs. And they're like a caramel tinted people. Those people in Europe, they're more beige. And the people in Africa, they're more brown. They're dark brown. And the people in Europe, they're more beige. And then in the middle of both of Europe and Africa, there are Middle Eastern people and Arabic people. They're more caramel tinted color. Then there are Asia. There's Asia yin yang. They're like black and white. And then there's caramel. And there's the Sphinx. The monument Sphinx is around where Middle Eastern people hang. I'm not sure how that whole network works. But that's my speculation as a outsider and I grew up in that area. I'm like, yeah, Africa, they're black, right? They're dark brown skin people. Then Europe people, they're called white people and they're beige skin people. And then there's Middle Eastern people in the middle of those beige people and those dark brown skin people. There's a caramel breed. There's like, it's a degradé of dark brown to caramel to beige. That was cool. And then there's Asia. They're gonna be there. They're 60% of the population. And don't be mean, I don't know. There's Asia, there's like black and white and the yin yang. Asia's gonna be there. If you're that type of people that's so stuck up and you're like black and white people, end of the story. It's black and white people, end of the story. Then Asia is gonna be there with the yin yang and it's black and white. Oh, so you're a black person? Then go to yin yang. So you're the yin. So you're black. So you're the yin. And then you're yin yang. So you're just a yin yang person. You're just black. You're just a black and white person. You're just like people who are black and white in the story. They're not European or African. No, they're just black and white. They're not European or African. They're just black and white. Then Asia's going to be like, okay, then we're the yin yang. So Africa is the yin and Europe is the yang. So it's yin yang. Africa is the yin, Europe is the yang, and then they're like yin yang, so they're gonna reverse everything. They're gonna be like yin yang. Africa is the yin, Europe is the yang, and then it's yin yang. You're just like African people or black people, end of the story. Then you're yin, and then you're like Europe people or white people, end of the story. Then you're the yang. And then no, you're not black. Have you seen your skin? It's dark brown. No, you're not white. Have you seen your skin? It's beige. And then there is Middle Eastern Arabic people in the middle of those two continents. And they're caramel. And I believe that they're already like a mix in between European white people and black people. Those European white people and African black people. I'm not even going to say black people and white people anymore because I remember when I started saying black people and white people, it just got to me like, no, you're not black. Duh. No, you're not white. Duh. You're beige, duh, you're brown, duh. But maybe it's hurtful to be brown. Why it would be hurtful to be brown in my head? It's because of excrements. Because when we take a dump or shit, it's brown. And that would be hurtful to me. So what I decided to do in my brain is, first of all, I have brown hair to compatize. And I have brown eyes. I would use wood. So when you take wood, like trees, or like the ground, So ground is brown. Ground is brown. So earth is brown. The ground is brown. And when you take wood in the trees, there are different tints of wood. There's light wood, like when we chop the wood off the tree. So wood comes out of the ground. A tree, it's life. It came out of the ground. The ground is brown, and wood came out of the ground, and it's brown. And then there are different tints of brown. So we use wood, and sometimes the wood is dark brown, and sometimes the wood is very light brown, like beige. So you could be a dark beige brown, or you could be a light brown beige. So why would get her to be brown? I would get her to be brown because when I take a poo, it's brown. But you could be like, I enjoy chocolate. That's what they did at some point. We all like chocolate, and then we eat chocolate, and we like chocolate. And chocolate is brown. At the same time, wood. I would just use wood because I enjoy how there are different tints of wood. There is dark brown wood, there is light brown wood, like beige. And I was okay with that. They're brown, their skin is brown. And in Europe, their skin is beige. And brown is not a filthy, disgusting color. It's like we eat a bunch of colors like green and blue and yellow. We eat all the colors that we want. And then it comes back of our rear or bottoms in a brown way. And that's okay. And our pee is yellow. Our pee is yellow and our poo is brown. And we eat a bunch of colors like red and orange comes in our mouth. And then we poo brown and we pee yellow. And it's traumatizing to be brown. But it's okay. We should be like peace to brown. So there are 3 primary colors: red, blue, yellow. 3 secondary colors: green, purple, orange. And there is also black, brown. There is also black, gray, white, and brown. Black, gray, brown. Black. There is also black, gray, white, and brown and beige. Black, gray, white, brown, and beige. And 3 primary colors, 3 secondary colors. There's also pink. Pink is a 3rd color. There's turquoise, a 3rd color. Pink, a 3rd color. There's also indigo. Indigo is a 3rd color. I wanted to say something along those lines at some point. And then everybody's gonna chill out because I said those lines in a very loose, okay way. And it's okay to voice your mind. So I wanted to move on to America. America is a different continent. So I wanted to say that at some point, European people. So in my head, I perceive that European people just went to colonize the world. So I think that they're the ones that went the most on boats, and they went on different continents. So there are like Russians on the continent of Asia. There is also on the continent of Oceania, there are white people. On the continent of Oceania, there are Europeans that have established. On the continent of Asia, there are Europeans that have established. And on the continent of America, there are Europeans that have established. They came on boats. They went to explore the world. I perceive Europeans as the one that have explored the world. I perceive Africans as the one that have stayed to their continent. They stayed there. They didn't move around. I've heard a joke where they say that African people can't swim. So I decided to either stop saying black and white people or either just not stop. I wanted to stop saying black and white people, and I wanted to say African and European people instead. Because when I was younger, it didn't feel right to say black and white people. It would feel better to assume that you are a African because you are a dark brown, and you are a European because you are a light beige, and you are a Asian because you have some type of physical feature and hair, Oceanian and American. So I'm like, African, they stick to their continents. I heard a joke that said that Africans can't swim. They don't swim. They're not able to swim, those African people. Those African people, they're not able to swim. They stick to their continents. I've seen the African people swim before. I've seen a dark-skinned person I've seen a black person. I've seen a dark-skinned person with some coarse hair swim in a pool before, just fine. But the joke was how African people couldn't swim. And those European people, they just went on different continents. They just went to get established on all the continents. They went explore the world. It wasn't just pretty. And that's what I wanted to get to. So example, America. The continent of America, Europeans went to get established. They murdered the natives. They murdered the Americans, those European people that went established on America. They murdered those Americans, and they had some African slave. On the continent of America, they had some African slaves, those European people. Those European people from the continent of Europe that came established on the continent of America, they started to have some African slaves. They have started to have some African slaves, and through bacteria and stuff like that, they killed so many Americans. They killed so many Americans, those Europeans, and they died from diseases, and they forced those Americans to go to boarding schools. They forced those Americans, those Europeans, they forced those Americans to go to school a certain way. Those Europeans, they forced Christianity on those Americans. Those Europeans, they forced Christianity on those Americans. Those Europeans, they went to America. Those Europeans, they went to America. Then they started to have some African slaves. It wasn't just pretty. They started having some African slaves, those Europeans that came to America. Those Europeans that came to America, they started having some African slaves. Those Europeans that came to America, they started having some African slaves. Those Europeans that came to America, they killed a bunch of Americans. Those Europeans that came to America on boats, they killed a bunch of Americans. They almost became they almost all died. They are a minority to this day. Those Americans are a minority in my sector because Europeans came to establish, and a lot of those Americans that were on the continent of America, they died. At the same time, moving on, it wasn't just pretty because there's Europeans that came on the continent of America. They decided to have some African slaves, and a lot of those Americans, they just died. That's what I wanted to say, how Europeans are Europeans, Americans are Americans, Africans are Africans, Asians are Asians, Oceanians are Oceanians. Also, there is a lot of Europeans had babies with Americans, so some Europeans came on the continent of America and they had some babies with some Americans. And then there were some Métis baby. And the symbol for Métis is a infinity symbol. So in my sector, the symbol for Métis is a infinity. And it symbolizes how those Europeans and those Americans stay together forever. Infinity forever. Americans and Europeans forever together. Infinity. They had some babies, some Métis. Some mix in between European and American Métis babies. And then they're forever together. In my sector, the symbol for Métis babies in between a European and a American is the infinity symbol. That's cute. I have the Sphinx tattoo on my chest, I wanted to say. I think that the most powerful symbol for the Sphinx is the Ankh. So I developed a beautiful understanding about spirituality, how there is the Ankh, the Merkaba, and the Yin Yang. The Ankh is the Egyptian symbol associated to the Sphinx. There is also the Merkaba, the Yin Yang. And then if we move on to the infinity symbol. So on this arm, I associate the peace symbol I have tattooed on my body to World War I and World War II, the peace and love movement, the hippie peace and love movement, so peace and love. And then there is peace and love forever, and I associate, example, the infinity symbol to those Métis people. I associate the infinity symbol to those Métis, European, and American people. And I associate the Ankh to the Sphinx and the north of Africa. There's also the Merkaba and the Sphinx, and there's a story. And there's the Yin Yang, the most recent of the three of them. I think that's the oldest. That one has been around. It's a bit mysterious. It's been around. And there's the Yin Yang, the most recent philosopher. It's black and white. I believe that the Sphinx, perhaps the Sphinx was a mix in between a European and a African, and maybe she was a Middle Eastern, a black and white mix, and then we finally made it to the Yin Yang. I believe there's a bunch of stories to Trinity. That is, to me, the duality and the Yin Yang, black and white, and Trinity. And this is reproduction and how we keep going forever through reproduction and having babies, the genital of the woman and the genital of the man. I enjoyed perceiving it as the vagina, the penis, and two penises over here. They used to say to me that that was the baby. So the mom, the vagina, the penis, the baby. But what I did in my brain is decide that it was, that's what I read on the internet. I decided that was vagina, the penis, and two penises. Two penises, gay men. Vagina, penis, gay man. And I decided that that was lesbians. So how many genitals do we have in the world? How many types of genitals do we have in the world? 2. We have vaginas and penises. End of the story. So you could be into polygamy or monogamy, but to initiate polygamy and monogamy, first of all, we're going to be like vagina and vagina together, and then penis and penis together, and vaginas and penises together, and penises and vaginas together, and polygamy, monogamy, and end of the story. We went around. It's not too complicated to go around. There are like 5 habitated continents on this planet. There are 6 continents, and 5 of them are habitated. We just want to go around and create peace and harmony. Then we get to explore the little details, and we get to have fun with culture. If it's fun to explore little details and all those things on physical features and the food that we eat, if you have fun knowing what kind of food they eat on different continents and what clothes they wear and what kind of physical features they have on different continents, how do they speak, what languages they speak. If all of that is fun, that's good, but it's good to go overall around, and we know that we all want peace, everything is safe and secure, the world is a safe space. We all know that we have access to a lot of technology nowadays, and we want to create the best network. We've been in a jungle. It's been the Garden of Eden. We've been in a jungle since the Industrial Revolution. World War I and World War II have happened. It's been a jungle, the Industrial Revolution. Then we pretty much know our way around. We've been around the world, and we want just a safe, peaceful space. We are going to have paradise on earth. Paradise on earth is going to be established. All we're going to do is establish some mind, a bit of fair trade, ethics, human rights. We are all people. We all need food and a home to keep going. We all need food and home. We all need money. Our system is money, so money is a human system. It is a man-made system. Money is a man-made system. And I enjoy the money system as long as it's pure and clean. So we are going to establish how every single individual in the world needs money for food and a home and clothes, and school should be there for you, and we want the best time we could possibly have on the world. We all want to have a good time and happiness. We all want to be happy, a good time. We pretty much want the same. We want to be happy and have a good time. We want everything to feel safe and peaceful. So that was it. I decided to associate myself to the Sphinx because of my zodiac. The Sphinx is the Ankh. I am from the continent of America. I was born on the continent of America. We are no longer in Sphinx times. Now we are in 2022. And maybe it's time to move on to the infinity symbol. I don't know, there's a bunch of sayings to configure in my mind just to mean that we are no longer in Sphinx Egyptian times. If I'm the Sphinx according to my zodiac, we are now in infinity, peace and love times. So the movement, it is now peace and love. that was harsh enough. Those reproduction, it keeps going forever, and Merkaba yin yang, it's still recent, right? It's still recent, the yin yang. That was harsh enough to configure that one. So now we are now over peace. We now have peace, and we are establishing peace on earth. Peace and love on earth forever. Peace and love forever. The infinity symbol is there too. And it's harmony. We're going to configure some perfect sayings for harmony. And it's cool that this monument, the Sphinx, is always going to remain in the north of Egypt. However, we know that the Sphinx was a real person and not just a monument. But you can say whatever you want, because I decided that they're always going to say whatever they want. If I decided that I'm the Sphinx, I decided that I'm the Sphinx, and I can take that title according to my zodiac, no problems. So my zodiac is how I was born on the Leo sun sign, and I wasn't sure if the Leo edge sun sign. I wasn't sure if I was a Leo or a Virgo. Then I got my zodiac birth chart tested, and I am born on the edge of on Leo edge. I am a Leo, but I notice how my moon sign is Virgo, and I also have Mars, Venus, Saturn in Leo, and I have my rising sign Leo, and I just decided that I'm the Sphinx whether you like it or not. And that's how I kept going in psychology and psychiatry. I'm like, wow, I'm actually the Sphinx whether you like it or not. I'm Sphinx Zeus. I'm Zeus. I'm powerful whether you like it or not. And we definitely need that boost in infinity with European and American. We need that boost to make it last forever, peace and love forever. We need that boost of American and European together forever in the first place. So the Sphinx was cool a long time ago. We definitely know that it keeps going forever with reproduction. We keep having babies and babies and babies and babies, more babies, more babies, more babies. Ah! So it's good. It's good. It happened babies over babies over babies over babies for so long. Then we got established, we went around, we colonized. It wasn't just pretty to colonize. Then we want peace to happen. Peace and love forever. You want peace and love forever? The hippie movement? Then that one to me represents European and American together forever. Then we're good. Worldwide, we're good. Peace and love forever. Beautiful. Beautiful, peace and love forever. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been the Sphinx. This has been the Sphinx. This has been Gabrielle Michel Côté. This has been Gabrielle Michael, the protector Côté. This has been Gabrielle, the messenger. Michael, the protector Côté. This has been the healer. Who's the healer? Raphael, peace to you too. We're all gonna be healed and feel good. I'm sending you all some messages to heal your ears, to heal your hearts. At the same time, I'm protecting you through my nice messages. I respect Raphael too. Peace, everyone. This has been Gabrielle Michel Côté. This has been the Sphinx. This has been October 17th. October 17th, 2022. Have a beautiful day. Peace and love to all of you. Peace and love forever to all of you. Peace out. Have a beautiful day. Ciao.